Hello and welcome back to Minecraft Survival, and I am here in my big house, and as you can see I've been doing a little bit of work. We now have a floor here. It's just a fairly simple diagonal square pattern in a couple of different colours, and it's a bit textured, and so this is what this courtyard is going to have. Then we've got this nice little fountain in the middle. The other courtyard down here is going to have something a bit more complicated, but this courtyard is just a nice square. I've also started work on the interiors. So if we go in here, this is the villager trading hall over at the back, but now I've got some decorational bookshelves. There's a ceiling with some lights and a floor, and this is the design that I'm going to be going with. I was trying to make bamboo planks work, and I did not like it at all, so I've got rid of that and replaced it with this, which I like much more. Now I've started work on the interiors of the rest of it, but as you can see I haven't finished it. I've got all the ceilings in and I've started putting in some walls, but I haven't done the floors yet. I can go up this random staircase, and I haven't done as much as I've done downstairs, although I did do this room because it felt like it. Because it had this big window, I had to do something a bit different with it. And so what I've done is I've got this sort of stage area here, and then there's another little staircase in the back here that comes down here, and there's doors, but I left them open because I need to go through them. Now if you've been paying close attention, you may have noticed that something else looks a bit different, and that is that my shaders have changed. I'm using a newer version of the same shader, and the reason for that is because I needed the newer version to work with Distant Horizons, because Distant Horizons is a really cool mod that allows me to do this, and I don't have my spyglass on me. If I get out my spyglass and look over here, you can see that it looks a little bit odd. That doesn't quite look like normal Minecraft. What Distant Horizons does is it basically creates a sort of low texture, low quality version of the world in the distance, and only if you're zooming in on it with a spyglass do you even notice. From over here, that just looks perfectly fine, looks normal, but it's actually quite low quality, so that it can load loads of stuff. So I have 2,000 blocks of Distant Horizons render distance, and in the far distance it's all just a bit of a blurry mess, but you can't tell that when you're not looking down through a spyglass. But it just means that I can see so much more of my world, which is very cool. And if I just fly up into the air a bit, you can see just how far I can see. Like, it's ridiculous. Why do I need to see this far? Well, I don't. I could probably turn it down a bit to save on some performance, but it's kind of cool. And if you're looking at this, if you look at this ground here, you can see it's changing from the Distant Horizons version to the sort of normal version as I get closer to it, which is kind of noticeable, but not significantly. It's only if I'm flying around. It's one of those things that now I've gone to work, turning it off would look so much worse. Although I did actually turn down my normal render distance because I don't need it to be as high, because the Distant Horizons rendering is not bad. Yeah, that's what I've been up to, and what I need to do is more of these interiors. That is sort of my priority for the moment, is to get some of these interiors done. I don't mean that I'm going to furnish all the rooms. I mean this sort of basic interior with a floor and a ceiling and some walls and some lights, just so that it looks presentable, rather than what most of the buildings look like, which is just generic temporary floor and white ceiling through the whole thing, and a couple of interior walls where the edges of buildings are. I'm still yet to decide what I want to do with the bamboo farm. It's currently just kind of sitting here with nothing over it. I will do something with it, I just haven't figured out what yet. There's quite a big space that I need to cover up, and I could do a building like that, then I would just have a load of like blank windows. I will do something with it, but it will be something that doesn't need windows, so that it doesn't look odd that it doesn't have any. I've also been doing some work over in what is becoming my farming area. There's a new thing up here. This is the raid farm that will break in 121. I haven't updated to 121 yet. I know it's out, but not all my mods and things like that have updated yet, so I haven't upgraded. and I do have all the copper and tough blocks anyway, so it's not a massive thing for me to do that particularly quickly, but I will definitely do that at some point. So this is a sugarcane farm. It's not very effective, I need to make it better, and this is a creeper farm. I might just build another of these sort of on top of it, although I did just do a harvest, so we should see something of this come through here. And while there's stuff in here, that activates it, and this should do the thing. Hello, why aren't you doing the thing? Oh, a piece of redstone fell into the clock. So now when another harvest activates, it will actually function, rather than just not doing anything because this random piece of redstone broke the clock. But I didn't actually explain what this does. It takes the gunpowder from here and the sugarcane from here. This converts it into paper and it puts it through here, which goes to this one, which creates rockets and throws them into these chests. So now I have quite a lot of rockets to use. And also I have just noticed that Distant Horizons has decided to load the entire area between here and my base. The Distant Horizons has loaded up to this point around the edge here, and then there's another circle you can sort of see coming off here and over this way, and that is the circle around my actual base. And it's loaded so far that it has connected the two. I am over 10,000 blocks away from it, and it's just gone, yeah, I'll just connect the two. I don't know why it's done that, because I'm only supposed to be rendering 2,000 blocks in either direction, so there should be, you know, like 6,000 blocks in between that it didn't do. But it just sort of went and did it anyway, and I don't quite know why, but I'm not going to complain because this is cool. I mean, I can't actually go high enough here, I don't imagine, to actually be able to see it, because the clouds will get in the way, and the clouds are at like height 400 or something. But somewhere over there is my base. I don't actually know which direction I would have to look to see it. That blob there may be it. I can barely see it. If I remember to zoom in when I edit, it may be more visible, but it's probably just a blob. This is so cool. Why would I not be able to see my base from 10,000 blocks away? And I can just see the edge of this whole entire desert biome around here, which is a huge desert biome. If we look very closely at this, I was thinking of building a slime farm here. So this is 2 chunks down here, and the desert extends over there, and then I can see over this. It's ridiculous. I love this so much. Distant Horizons is amazing. I mean, there are also other mods that do similar things, which are also, I imagine, just as cool. However, Distant Horizons is the one that I could get to work. So it's just harvested, and that means that we should get some coming through here, and this is being activated, and it's pumping out fireworks, and they're coming in here. And it does actually, if running at full speed, output fireworks faster than the hopper here can pick them up, but it never activates enough for that to become a problem. They just sit on top of the hopper for a few seconds and then get picked up. But the way this works is that there's a hob clock at the back that really controls the firing of things, but it can be locked by not having enough things in here, by not having enough things in here, or by not having enough things in here. I believe this is not my design. I tried making something, it was huge and didn't even work, so I did just go and borrow someone else's. With the updated shader, I've also got this nether storm, which is just, you know, sort of an effect that looks kind of cool in the nether. And Distant Horizons is on here, and I think the bits over there you probably wouldn't be able to see without it, but the nether storm does make it kind of redundant because I don't need to see over there anyway. Unfortunately, I couldn't work out how to tell Distant Horizons that I don't need it to be on in the nether, and to be honest, I don't need it on in the end because, well, I'll show you. I built this iceboat track to the end, but I don't ever use it because if I take the boat down here, and then if I want to leave, well, I go through the end exit portal, which puts me at my base anyway, so the boat just ends up sitting down at the end portal in the nether, and then that's not very useful because I can't get it back. I was unable to find the setting to enable the end effect, the sort of weird glowy pillar things that looked quite cool. However, with Distant Horizons, I can see the outer end islands. They are a substantial distance away, but I can see them, and I can see on them these cities, and I can't remember which ones I've been to, but I know I went to some of the close ones. So, yeah, there's a bunch of cities for me to go visit that I can see, which is just ridiculous. That's not how it's supposed to work. And I can't remember if I showed this in a video or not. I may or may not have done, but I also have an end farm down here for the Enderman, and it is full of pearls, and I don't need more pearls. However, it gives you an insane amount of XP. I just listened to this horrific deafening noise of Enderman, and then the XP orbs just come flying out of it, because, you know, this is one of the most efficient XP farms you can make, because there are no spawning spaces other than over here, and so they all come up here. They want to kill this Endermite. They can't get to the Endermite. They fall in this pit, and then I stab them. And there's a ridiculous amount of Ender pearls just sitting here, because I don't need them. I have 2 entire shulker boxes of them at my base, just sitting around, because I don't need that many pearls. So I'm going to put these back in here. I don't want them, but yeah, there's just a bunch of XP orbs floating around me, trying to get to me, but you can't absorb them very fast, and this thing produces them far faster than you can absorb. I've also gone back to trading with these guys for brick and blocks of quartz, because I need the quartz for some of these ceilings, because most of these ceilings are made of white concrete, but there are some bits, like over here, where it needs to, you know, move up or down, and in order to not have full blocks, I've got slabs, but they're smooth quartz slabs because they look like white concrete. But yeah, these guys don't like refreshing the trays. They're not very good at that. They just sort of don't a lot of the time. But yeah, I actually take these blocks of quartz and go over to the smelter and throw them in here, because I want them to be smooth quartz rather than just blocks of quartz. And I have a massive smelter, so, you know, it's not much effort for me to smelt them. Just throw them in here, and it takes like 20 seconds and they're all done. Now, I haven't done in this bit yet, because the sheep farm is actually kind of in the way. It's also very noisy, and so it will probably just be removed once it's filled these up with wool. Or maybe I'll let it use up all of these shears first, because I don't want a load of pretty much broken shears. I mean, some of them are actually about to break. We might actually see some shears break. Wow, that means that I've been in this area for a very long time. Maybe I'll get some shulker boxes and take a couple boxes out of each of these, and take that back to my base in case I need wool. And then there'll be enough room in these chests for it to finish up the rest of the shears, and then I'll just remove it, because it is loud and annoying and in the way. We're also going to need some basements, because all these old houses do have storage rooms, because that would be cold. So you'd want to store your perishable goods in the cold cellars. And I don't have any cellars yet. I'm going to need to make some of those a little while later. And I have done the interiors for the rest of it. So they all have the ceiling, the lights, the floor with the tiles and carpet, and doors and interior walls, and there's now a lot of rooms, and I don't know what to do with most of them. If we walk in the main doorway and come through on the right, we can go down a corridor over here. There's rooms at the end, and my frames are dying for some reason. Whenever I look in the direction of my starter house, you can see that my frames just absolutely die. When I look this way, they're perfectly fine. I have no idea why it does that. I should probably work out why it's doing that and do something about it. There's a little door over here. This door goes through here. And we can go through here. There's another corridor. And we can go through here. We can go through here. We can go through here. And there's more rooms. There's a staircase here. And this staircase goes up here. And from here we can go down the corridor over this way, which leads us back over here and into somewhere over here. But we can't get through here into this building like we did down here. And this place is an absolute maze. You may also notice that I have these chains on the bottom floor windows, and the main purpose of that is so that mobs cannot pathfind in, because I don't want mobs wandering into my house. So unfortunately, skeletons can still shoot through it, so if I'm standing here and there's a skeleton outside, the skeleton will still shoot me, but at least they won't actually follow me inside. Now the wool farm is starting to actually run out of shears in some of these. They are actually breaking some of them now. As you can see, I now have a box of wool in each of them, and it might fill up another row if we're lucky. I also did some more tweaking of my shaders and things like that. So it turns out that I misinterpreted the numbers on the Distant Horizons render. It's actually measured in chunks, so this is 500, this is plenty, I can't see the edge, so I'm going to leave it at a lower number than what I had it at before. I thought it was measuring blocks. Don't know why I thought that, but it's actually chunks. I've also found a setting in the shaders, or in an expansion for the shaders, which adds seasons. So currently it is spring, so there are flowers on the ground, and while I was building the interiors, it was winter, and so everything was snowy and the ground was covered in snow, and I like it, it's cool. It may not be the best in terms of consistency between videos, because obviously I'm putting in hours between videos, and so the seasons are going to probably seem a bit random to you, but the season changes every 24 Minecraft days, so that's 4 real-time hours. Unfortunately, I haven't got around to the cellars today, and I do have to get this video done and out to you guys, so that will have to be something that will probably be between episodes. There's also loads of other stuff that I need to do. A big thing is this building on here still needs doing. It looks silly. Why are my frames dying again? It just looks silly as being a bamboo farm. I also need to do this courtyard floor, but that's going to be more complicated. And I'm going to need to do something, you know, outside, because currently it's just opens into a field, and that doesn't make sense. In theory, I should have a straight path coming out here with a tree-lined avenue or something, but looking at the terrain, I don't think that's going to work very well, because we've got all this mess to worry about. So it might have to be a bit different, have a bit of corners to it, things like that. There's also much grander plans I have for this, so I need more buildings, obviously. I want to have more buildings. Not that I need them, because I don't have anything to put in the ones I have. And gardens, probably. That would be cool. But yeah, lots of stuff that I need to do, and none of that I'm going to do right now, because this is going to be it for this video. So thank you for watching, don't get distracted, go subscribe now, and until next time, goodbye.